This is Mario with MIA Microflight, and recently I was looking through the internet, kind of reminiscing on the old stuff that I designed. I started, for people that know my company, MIA Microflight, I started as MIA Designs, and I actually started designing helicopters, rubber power helicopters, back in the early 80s. And so I used to experiment with a lot of designs back in the day, and I actually ended up making a few designs for sale for a local hobby shop back in Chicago. Stanton Hobby Shop used to carry my kits as per their request once they saw my models, what I was doing and how they worked. So they started carrying some of my kits, and from there I went on to Flying Models magazine, started advertising via snail mail, which is just a regular mail. Back in the days when I have internet, and so everything was done via mail, regular mail. And so I used to sell my designs there. So what I'm about to show you is very interesting, because there's a gentleman here that is claiming that this is his design, and it is nothing more than, as I will show you, it's nothing more than a blatant copy of my MIA Hughes 500 RB. I designed several of them, and I did a few shows back in the day as well. When I lived in Chicago, I did the Chicago Hobby and Model Show. I demonstrated my models there. I did some flights there. I used to, just wind the helicopters, just do flights as we were doing the show. And so, I go back a long time here, and I don't know why this gentleman is, is not giving me credit here, and it's calling this helicopter his design here. So I will play this video here and let you.
With Copter Concepts. Today we're going to try and make flight number 3 with the Hughes 500. I made a few changes to the rotor hub assembly. I wanted to make a rotor hub exactly like on the Bell Huey, and to test that out to make sure it's going to work on this model. If it does, then it should work on the Bell Huey as well. I do have about 450 winds on it. It's not going to be a long flight. Should be fairly brief, but I want to see if I can get this stable and get a decent flight shot this time. So we're filming it right, so everything should be good and well here.
Okay, so this is flight number 3, and let me go back to his videos on flight number 2, and in particularly number 1, where he says that this is his design.
Okay, this is Ray Kiernan with Copter Concepts. Again, we have another helicopter we're going to be testing. This is my simplified Hughes 500, 2 feet long. I have 700 winds in the rubber motor. As you can see, she is all wound up. There's a rubber motor. You can see it. I did a transmission test earlier. Everything looked good. So we are going to try for flight, and we are also going to add a little bit of music to the video for just a minute. So you go ahead and you aim at the helicopter.
Okay, here's video number 2, and he's clearly saying that this is his design here for some reason.
Hello again, this is Ray Kiernan with Copter Concepts. We are about to test my new Hughes 500, which is a simplified model, rubber-powered helicopter. She is 2 feet long. She weighs about 52 grams with motor. And there's the rubber motor. She's all wound up and ready to go. I don't know if you can see there's the rubber motor right there.
Okay. It's a good thing that he's showing the inners as well of this, helicopter that he's calling his. This is actually my design here. The pulley system with the 4 holes is mine. It looks like he added a couple more blades here, but the actual design of the helicopter is mine, as I'm about to show you here in just a little while. So bear with me for just a second. I'm going to go to my library and pull out that magazine where I showed this particular design here. Okay, so as you can see, I have an extensive library of magazines that I've been collecting throughout the years. And actually, when I started doing my rubber-powered helicopter experiments, and I embarked on trying to understand the mechanics of helicopters by working with rubber-powered helicopters first of all, and eventually I went to free-flight electric helicopters, and then from there I went to radio-control helicopters, the Microsoft micro palm size. That's where all that came from, under MIA Designs, and I still have all those magazines from back in the day. You can see how far I go back here. Um, 80s, well, let's see, 80s to 90s. But the magazine that I'm looking for in respect to this particular video that I'm talking about should be somewhere in here. And I haven't looked at my radio, not radio, but my rubber powered helicopters in a long time. I also have a cabinet full of all that work that's in my shed. I showed that a long time ago as well, just to show the type of models that I was doing back in the day when I was operating under MIA Designs. You'll know also that my email is miadsgs@cox.net. It's derived from the MIA Designs for that reason. But the magazine that I'm looking for is under model Flying Models, and I'm going to pause this video once again to look through the particular magazine that has that article on that very same helicopter that he's calling it his. So hang on a minute. Okay, so I found the section where I was communicating with Flying Models, and I was sending them photographs and just communication with one of the gentlemen that used to do reviews here in Flying Models. And I'm going to show you all these areas here where I submitted my stuff there. So MIA Designs, page 51. So if we go to page 51, and these are old magazines. These are some from the back in the 90s. These are from the 90s, but I go back a little bit further than that when I started submitting my stuff, to magazines. Way before back in the 80s, I wasn't submitting stuff because I was, I didn't know about these magazines back in those years. I don't think I came across these in later years, I believe. And so I found out that there was a gentleman that was doing reviews on some of these indoor flying, and he showed an interest in some of the photos that I was sending him. And eventually I think this was one, we got some information from MIA Designs out in Chicago. Do you recall the name? The outfit that produced the large profile rubber helicopters that I told you about some months back. As a matter of fact, I know some of the gang who order their own kits of this one. Well, the news is that this company is now announcing a new line of three-dimensional scale-like designs that still fly under rubber power. The first is the 500 RB, and this is the one that this gentleman here in this video that I'm showing is calling it his. The 500. And I'll show you the design of this 500. It's a blatant copy. Ready, then this is three-dimensional. Three-dimensional, which it is three-dimensional. Most of the rubber-powered helicopters. At the time that I was designing mine were basically just sticks and rubber, just a very, very skeletal looking models. And so I started designing more three-dimensional by cutting down some of the weight, number one, because these were going to be three-dimensional, and they had tissue paper as the covering. When I did this 500, they were talking about here, and I'll show you the exact plan here. But here, this gentleman, Earl Van Gorder, which is a gentleman that I used to send my stuff to, he's clearly mentioning in this magazine that I'm working on these designs, and that the first will be the 500 for delivery. Now he's kind of just announcing it to the subscribers of this magazine. So let's see. I have to keep this in order here, so I don't have to. So MIA Electric 63. This was back in January of 1993 when he wrote that. Let's see if I can find the actual January. Back in 92. CMIA Designs, page 51, and I'm going to show you all the stuff that I used to send it to him, because I marked these magazines so that I can come back in later years, such as today. I like to keep a record of all the stuff that I do, and this is how I've been keeping records, in case I need to showcase these things. And unfortunately, there are people that are, they are just unscrupulous people, or just they make the mistake of not giving credit where due. Robert Power helicopter. Let's see if I can find the. I'm just gonna. And there it is. There is there. This is this is an old copy of the article, and this should have a date here and page 50. And this is just a receipt, and I think this was returned to me by the magazine company, just giving me acknowledgement that they received, and they were about to publish the article. So this is how they would give you a kind of a draft copy of what they were going to publish. I think that's what this is, and after that, they would send me a copy of the magazine. So I am going to search for that particular one. Where's the MIA? I know it. Actually, I had a couple copies of that magazine. Page 51. This was in 1990. Let's see, when was this? Is there a date here? March 1994. Okay, so this was in 1994. 93 is when this gentleman, Earl Van Gorder, mentioned he was giving their readers a heads up. So 1994, March 1994. So I got to find that magazine. So I'm going to pause that and go back in my library and search for that magazine. Okay, so here's the magazine, 1994, here, March 1994. If we go to page 50 of this Flying Models magazine, you'll find the full article on this helicopter here. You can see the three-dimensional design, the way I designed this helicopter. Basically, he's lifted all the patterns here. He's lifted all the components, because I did supply here. He probably has the plan that I used to sell the plan. He probably bought the plan from me a while back. Because there are people that were trying to do the same thing I was trying to do, that I was doing, actually not trying, that I was actually doing and showing in shows. I was flying this helicopter when I did the hobby and model show, which I saw in some videos, pictures of that show. Back in those days, we didn't have the ability to film with ease, with cell phone cameras. We didn't have these devices. I think that the best you could do is get a really bulky VHS type camera. If you could afford one and do videos, that way, or just take snapshots. So back in the day, this is the way we communicated. Through regular snail mail, is some people call that. But this is the actual helicopter here. This was quite a famous helicopter back in these days, and this particular man here is lifting my design here. Um, so you can see the layout here, and I still have the plans here, and in my files I still have the full. This is a real big plan here. I used to do these plans and have my brother-in-law who has a print shop. Um, um, he used to do the copies of these, and he had at that time he had a blueprint shop, and used to do the blueprints for me, and I used to sell the blueprints with my kits, with the rubber powered, with all the all the balsa wood, the blades pre-cut, and as you see it right here, it's pretty much I do in the same way I do my more complex stuff that over the years I moved on to and away from this. So I believe this man probably thought that I was, that I totally forgot about this, but that is no reason, to lift my design here. So I wanted to do this video because these things need to be called out, when people are that bold in just lifting somebody else's design. There you go. You can see the design here, the way I designed this, and he's got a video that shows from this angle right here, and you can see that pulley right there. That pulley, same thing. My wooden pulleys, and in some of these kits that I used to supply later, I went as far as drilling additional holes on the pulleys just to line them up, because I started selling them with balsa wood pulleys, and then I went to basswood pulleys, that I used to create those on one of my first hobbies lathes, a shearline lathe. That's how I used to make these little pulleys here, and I used to use brass tubing, brass. Yeah, this is all with precision here, precision fit, so that there would be no slop in the rotor head, as the rotor head needed to be very precise in order for this to fly with some level of precision. And you can see the length of the rubber was basically that whole stack here, but this is basically the design. You can see the parts here, and basically, a two-page spread on this helicopter here. So I wanted to point that out in a video, because this gentleman in this other video is just lifting this design, and I do know who he is. I should point that out. Back in the day, I believe we exchanged some communication, um, and you know I wish it would at least said, this is I really like the design of Mario, or MIA Designs, and I'm basically I just lifted, I made it bigger. I think he this was a good size helicopter here. You were talking about maybe a foot and a half in length from end to end. So these were big helicopters, and this was not the only one that I made. I made several, maybe a dozen or more designs. And not only these, I made them open frame. I made them three-dimensional, covered as you see it here, and painted. This doesn't show the color scheme, but I used to do this in red and red and white, because you could just lift the paper right here. The idea was to build a balsa wood right on top of this plan, which was a slide. The plan was made out of light paper that you could assemble the model directly, just glue it over the profile here, and you would end up with that. And that's what you're seeing here. And then you would just use color markers to color, just to keep it very lightweight, to color the windows and the trim lines. And in the way I also covered the blades, I also supplied the covering part of the plant, to cover the blades, to fully cover the blades and color them as well, as you see here the body of the helicopter. So yeah, so this was one of the designs that I made, one of the more popular designs. Let me pause the video and go on to the other ones, because I do want to show you some other designs that I did, and I used to send to this company. Okay, this one is from 1992, page 56. We got the flash shark RB Heli. And so there's also another of my designs here, the more freestyle design that I was selling in kit form back in these years here. Little notes there that I spoke to somebody there. Don Ross, rubber-powered models. I think Don Ross was I think he wrote a book on rubber-powered airplanes. And so, I was talking to all these people that back in the day, and they were showing interest in the stuff because nobody else was doing stuff like this, at least not with the intensity and creativity that I was using here with these rubber-powered helicopters. You can see this is very unique, and I call this the Shark. Look closely at and you'll see flex shaft. Now I was using flex shafts, so I was getting really creative with all kinds of ways to distribute the power, not only vertically but horizontally. And I even use you can see some other helicopters in the background here. I even used as I will show you in another model that I have, I did one with gears, just to either get more torque or more speed, depending on the type of helicopter that I was building, the type of requirement of power that it required based on the weight and the size. So here we go. This is the MIA Shark. Rubber power has a real rotor too, hooked to a belt and pulley. Wow, that's one. Okay. So that's a belt and pulley system. So this is one of them, and you can see the flex shaft coming down from the rotor right here, making a 90 degrees through the flex shaft into a horizontally mounted rubber band, and that allowed me to design this helicopter as a low profile one, not so high as the MIA 500. This is supposed to be RB, but they made a mistake here. It's supposed to be rubber band helicopter, but they put an A there. Not a biggie, just a typo. So that's another one that I sent to them, and that I used to sell in kit form. Okay, so here's another design of mine, more three-dimensional, but without the covering. And this was the this was on page 52, 1993, Flying Models Magazine. Flying Things for Fledglings was the column. And once again, the rubber power helicopters fly. Judge for yourself with this photo of the new Ranger from MIA Designs. Above left, choppers are different but a lot of fun. Okay, so this was just a one photo here, part of this. I had sent them a photo. If I would have had a phone at that time, this type of technology that we have, I would have done videos and as well and send it to them as we are doing it these days, with our cell phones. But there's another one there. Same blade design, same concept here is this one right here. Three-dimensional frame and tail rotor driven by a pulley system. So that's another one. Okay, so here's another one. This is in the electric section here. Once again, Flying Models, page 63. And that's another one. Another helicopter. So when rubber powered, I went and started doing some experimentation with free flight electric. You can see the little electric motor, the gear there, pulley system, same kind of concept there that as I showed later on, but more elaborate, with the radio control palm size rubber powered palm size micro, sub-micro, and palm size helicopters, which I did a lot of the early work with those helicopters. This old balsa electric powered chopper comes from MIA Designs in Chicago. Total weight 60 grams with a small Mabuchi motor and 380 milliamp cells. It may become a kit. So I was I didn't produce this in kit forms, but I went full throttle and produced the actual radio control models in later years. Here we're talking about 93. So by 94, I already had some radio control RC helicopters that I was trying to introduce into the market. But this was the early versions, kind of free flight. Okay, what I'm going to show you now are some of the photographs that I did. These are some volumes They contain photographs, all photographs. I used to take photos of all the work that I've done because I like to document everything that I do. And so there are no questions, when these things surface. But I'm going to show you. These are from around the same time, back in the 80s, 90s. They go back that far. What I'm going to show you here is a continuation of this. If this wasn't enough, I'm going to show you the actual photographs of the models that I did. I just show you this from magazines here, taken from magazines. There's the model in flight. Back in the day, here's back in flight. Look at the size of that model. Back in the day, here's the one that I submitted to also that you saw earlier from the magazine. This is me back then in MIA Designs, back in one of the radio control hobby model shows back in Chicago, doing some flights here with that same model that you see there, the Hughes 500 RB. That's my wife back in the day, and you can see the number of helicopters there. It's a very humble beginnings here with our very humble setup here that I put this together myself. This is at a time when I believe this was right after I left after 11 years of working for a communications company. I left that company in order to do my own thing. I really wanted to establish my company. I was trying to find ways to do that, and this was kind of testing the waters, so to speak. So I developed this whole line, and I eventually found out that there was a lot of interest in these model helicopters. And although these are rubber powered, I actually developed the radio control ones, and that's how my company MIA Microflight got started. But back in the day, we were MIA Designs here, and you can see the variations of helicopters that I had here. I had this is from a company here in Arizona that I got inspired by their shape, and so I designed this in from scratch out of balsa and paper. Same thing as these three-dimensional helicopters. Here's some open ones that I left them open frame just to show the workings and how lightweight and simple my designs were. Here's the Hughes 500, same thing right here. It's a little more elaborate, and here's some more elaborate designs here with the Ranger. What is this called? The Lone Rangers. Here's a tandem, and so I did here. There's a Huey behind here that's kind of hidden here. You'll see it here in this photograph right here a little bit better. And there's a Huey. There's the Lone Ranger. That one was my kind of no. This is also by this is, I think they call it the Scorpion. This helicopter was inspired by the Scorpion of the same company makes that other one that I showed here. I forget the name of that one. But this is back in the day here. Once again, that's the artwork that I was developing. For these helicopters. There's the Lone Ranger. And if my camera can focus in on the it's got these weights for stabilizer, for the flybar stabilization. But you can see the same designs here, the same style as my original MD or Hughes 500. So there you go. And if you want to be more blatant, I mean, why not just duplicate that photograph here, which I posted these photos via some older websites that I used to have, and via some of the rubber powered forums. If you type MIA Microflight rubber powered helicopters MIA design, you probably find those forums here. I haven't been in those in decades. But this is what he's copying right here. It's the same thing with my even the covers for the legs is the same thing. And all these flew great, and to this day they still fly great. It's just that I don't fly these things because these are very very. This is how I started, and I've gone on to more complex things. I mean, I'm designing radio control ultralights that are a quarter scale. So this at the time was my thing, but it's just become, now it's like I not so much not so much of a big thing. But the fact that I'm not putting attention on these or haven't talked about these doesn't mean that people can lift up my designs and call them theirs, blatantly. That's not cool. Look at this. I mean, these are very unique designs. These are my own designs. You won't see this prior to this video right here, or um, this is brand new. I don't think I showed this before, but I'm kind of sharing these photographs here in view that um, in view of this particular video and in discussion here. So this is the stuff that I got me started, and there's the Huey. And I even went on to more elaborate designs in these three-dimensional ones, as I'm going to show you here. There's the rubber band horizontally on that tandem on this tandem helicopter here. And just look how clean and clean, robust, but lightweight structures my designs are. And these are foamy. This was a complete foamy. I started carving some foam. I mean, look at the times here. We're using an Apple computers. And these are some of the bigger ones. These were in the 3 foot, 2 to 3 foot size here. You can see how big, how huge that helicopter is. And there's a full foamy one as well. And then there's one in flight. Over the power lines in my backyard when I lived in Chicago. There's that foamy one. And these are, now I'm starting to get a little more elaborate with these designs here. And this is back in the day. We're not talking about recent times. Here we have a kind of a complex pulley system here. And I used to work with pulleys as well as gears. In all kinds of contraptions and configurations in order to maximize, the power to the power of the rubber band. Here you can see, one of them is right there. It's a multi-pulley system. Multi-pulley, and I also did multi-gear. And there's a better shot of the MIA 500 RB. One in flight here in the park. Same one here with you can see these purple legs here. They're nothing more than just the same paper from the same plan as the